Hello, introduction to mass media. My name is Devon Harris. I'm 19 and this is my second semester at CWI. I'm currently going for a degree in media arts because, I would like to work with news and I've always wanted to explore my voice. Because, it's always been my dream since I was 14 to be the guy who says, tonight at 6, Grey's Anatomy, followed by the news at 10. It's a long episode, Grey's Anatomy. Idaho Center. ER. It's always been my thing. I've always liked artistic things that people call artistic, but are really just a really, really sharpened skill. Like I have a history of stage acting and, ballet, gymnastics. I've always loved those physical things, whether it be voice training, to something that you sharpen to absolute razor sharp. And then, I want to make a career out of it, my voice. So my all-time favorite movie is Crimson Peak. Here's a clip.
Ghosts are real. This much I know.
What do you be buying?
Take a little walk to the edge of town. Go across the track.
Edith, this is my sister.
There are parts of the house that are unsafe.
Where secrets lie in the butterflies in the hummingbirds, and you're never coming.
I can imagine the two of you in here as children.
We were not allowed in here as children. We were confined to the nursery, in the attic.
On a gathering storm comes a tall handsome man with a red right.
In your own best interest, proceed with caution.
Has anyone died in this house? Specific deaths, violent deaths.
I have to leave.
I'm here to take you away.
There's nowhere else to go. This is your home now.
Beware of Crimson Peak.
So yeah, my favorite movie is a horror movie. Now, I did think about it when I was reading the chapter with the whole third-person effect. I actually think about it in reverse, because I feel like I'm affected by movies in a way that nobody else is. See, I don't watch shows. I'll watch the news, every day. But, I don't really watch shows. And if I do watch a show, it's usually the whole show is encompassing one big story arc, So I've never been a fan of, shows where just each individual episode happens, like Parks and Rec or The Office or, just stuff. I'm really not much of a show watcher. I've always just liked density, because I like grammar, I like just philosophy, things like that. I love to put my whole point into as little words as possible, and that will require bigger words, things like that. I just, in every aspect of my being, I like a lot packed into a little box. So that's why I'm a movie guy, Besides, I love 3-hour movies, 4-hour movies, ones that just have so much, and I'll think about it for days. That's my thing. When it comes to Crimson Peak, and it comes to Guillermo del Toro movies entirely, there's always such good use of things like color and, the dialogue. The characters will say things that, even after watching it a few times, you won't even realize that something they say is foreshadowing to events later on. You won't realize that everything they've been building up to turns into a current issue or issues, like The Shape of Water, also Guillermo del Toro. This one gets me because of the artistry. What he does in his movies a lot is he'll do something like he'll have outside, just like in the night. Because, if you walk outside in the night, it's just pitch black. You can't see anything. But then in his movies, It's like a bright blue everywhere, and that doesn't exist. Nowhere is there a bright blue hue at like 2 a.m, but he makes you believe it. Crimson Peak, as you saw in the clip, it has, red candlelight. Like, candlelight isn't red, but then it really contrasts with the blue, and it all bounces off the black, the black scariness of the house. And then you've got, all these scary things going on. The character of Edith wears yellow for most of the movie, kind of showing that she's this pure bright spot in the midst of everything going on. It's absolutely enthralling. Because horror movies are what enthrall me the most. Because, like I was saying, I was thinking it was like the reverse third-person effect, where, my family really liked horror movies, and I, having some, anxiety problems, really didn't like them. They would scare the absolute bollocks out of me, and, I really kind of abstained from them for a long time. Then, as I got older and I grew out of that stuff, and I had, more under my belt, I guess, in general, I started to grow out of that childlike wonder, as you say. So then, as, everything is lame, whatever, everybody goes through that in some way or another. I mean, for me, it wasn't really like that, but, you sort of become more adult. And then going back and watching horror movies that scared me, I was gaining all of this, like, closure, and, I loved it. It just made me feel good. Because, a lot of people say if they review a horror movie, they'll say something like, it relied too much on jump scares. Wasn't even scary. But I love jump scares because they enthrall me. Because of how much they scared me so bad when I was young. They really just get me in my soul. And it's this weird good-bad feeling that's just enthralling, So then when you have a movie like Crimson Peak that does that, mixed with the beautiful artistry that I love, because I love, 19th century England or America, like Pride and Prejudice. I love that kind of stuff. And so this is a story told in that era with all the beautiful costumes, all this beautiful, unrealistic color, with this brilliant, brilliant narrative of love and madness and psychopathy. It's just so much in... the movie's only like an hour and 18 minutes. There's just so much that it makes the movie feel like it's way longer. And I absolutely love it. Because that's how I roll, That's how I roll. And this concludes our broadcast.